Hey girl, hey, it's your girl Yolonda Jay, and I thank you for being patient. We're here with a sit down with Yolonda Jay. Sit down with Yolonda Jay. I'm very excited to welcome our special guest today, Chief Shine Officer Andrea Harrison. I am just overwhelmed with the emotion when I think about who she is and what she brings to this audience. It is such an amazing collision of faith, grace, information. You are going to be super excited. All right. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be transformed in your mind and in your thinking about how you show up in your own personal brand life, in your actions, in the things and the dreams that you want to do. I'm going to give her a formal introduction, and then I have to give you my bestie introduction. All right. So her formal introduction is that she is a dynamic author, speaker, and personal brand strategist, affectionately known as a chief shine officer and visionary behind the Show Up and Shine movement. She's a proud Bronx girl, but now lives in Florida with her husband and her daughter. She's been in the legal field for 25 years in New York fast-paced legal world, but then today, she's the founder of the Shine Academy, host of a weekly talk show called Shine with Andrea, and the author of Show Up and Shine, a busy woman's guide to bold visibility, faith-driven leadership. And she is the visionary author behind the Shine Effect. I can't wait to talk about that anthology, bringing together powerful voices of women who found strength through consistency, community, and purpose. I want to present to some and introduce to others Andrea Harrison, Chief Shine Officer.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. You know, I say that sometimes, and I don't say that all the time as much as I used to, but I am always known as Hey, girl, hey, for sure.
That's where I got it from. I got it from you.
I was the first. I want to give them the formal introduction, but I also have to tell them about how I know you. So the world knows you as a Chief Shine Officer, but I know you as my hashtag business bestie for the last, I don't even know how many years. I didn't do the calculation. Deuce was born. He's only 7. So I would say at least 5 to 6, maybe even 7 years. We've had an amazing journey and ride together. I tell the story all the time that we met completely by accident. And I don't even know how she showed up in the space that I was in, but somehow she was like, I need to be at this table. I need to learn this information. I need to grow in this area. So I'm going to be in this building. So she was not actually invited, but she made it. And our lives have been changed ever since, because it was a group of us. It was at least, I'm gonna say 6 of us, and definitely we still four of us still 10 toes down. So we have weathered the storm of ebbs and flows in our lives. And I'm so grateful for not just you, but for your husband and your daughter and the impact that they make every time I cross paths with them. So very, very excited about that. So you were in legal field, and you really still are. You just don't have the title, because I think everybody that we know mutually will be like, so what about this? But I wanted to know about when you decided to step away from that corporate America world and into this new world where it's all about shine and women and purpose. Talk about that transition from paralegal in New York to shine officer in Florida.
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you so much for inviting me to be here tonight. I love when we get together. No matter what we do, we always have a great time. And I always tell you, you are the hostess with the mostest. You are the best host. Your radio days shine through like none other. And so I'm just honored to be here, that you would have me here today, and excited too. So yeah, I was a paralegal for over 25 years, and I enjoyed that time. But when I left New York and moved to Florida, I still worked as a paralegal for a little while, but after I got married and I met after I got married and then we had a baby 5 years later, things started to kind of just, shift. And once our daughter turned 7 years old, she decided that she wanted to do some really big things out there in the world. She started a photography business. And because mommy started an event and design business, she said, well, if mommy can start a business, I want to start a business. And she did. And hers took off in the craziest, unexpected way. And that led me to having to say goodbye to my legal career, which I was excited to do because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than by her side with all of the things, the amazing things that she was doing. And I did that with her for a few years before, I guess, becoming a full-time entrepreneur with the company where we met. And I realized that what I was doing, it was more than just the product that I was selling, but that I was there for the relationships. I wanted to do more than just sell a product. I wanted to touch lives. I've always wanted to empower women, and that product allowed me to do that. But then it came a time where God said, well, I want more from you. And so that led me to run from him for a few years because he wanted me to go live without the product and just go live and share his heart. And I was afraid to do it. I didn't think that I could. I didn't think I was good enough. I was afraid that without the product, being able to lean on that I wouldn't have anything to say. I didn't think I would be able to, speak about, women empowerment or whatever it was. I was nervous about that. And I told him no. I said, it's a great idea, but it's not for me. And I actually tried to get some other women to do it. And I couldn't run away from it. And he kept pursuing me and impressing.
Wait a minute. I've never heard that. So yeah. Pause right there, because that's important. Pause right there. You said, I had a vision, I had a God-given unction, and I was trying to get somebody else to do it so that I wouldn't. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
What? That part.
Yeah. I really didn't think that I was good enough to do it. I didn't think I had enough to say. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a Bible scholar. And so I felt like I just wouldn't be able to fill the time and that I wouldn't be able to say the things that I needed to say, the way that God was calling me. And so finally, after trying to convince other people to do it, because obviously it was a great idea. I mean, God was the one that came up with it. So, it was a great idea. And I could definitely pitch it that way, right? This is a God idea. This is not me. This is from God. And it took someone saying to me that your heart was created to be poured out onto God's people. And that just broke me down. I just started crying. And it really touched my heart. And 5 days later, I said, yes, Lord. And all it takes is a yes. All God needs is a heart, a surrendered heart. And so that's where it all started. Me finally saying yes to going live every day, every weekday at 10 a.m. And I've been doing it for 2 years now.
I was going to say, tell us how long, because I remember day one. And now it's day 600 and something is what you're saying? Oh, you're laughing. I remember day one where he was like, I'm going to go live every day. And I was just like, he do it. But God ain't called me to do it. Huh? He called me weekly. He didn't call me daily. But you did it. And you said you've been doing it for 2 years?
I've been doing
every single day.
I've been doing it for 2 years.
And that is your talk show that you do every day?
Yes.
Which is?
Shine with Andrea.
Yeah.
Shine with Andrea. I now am doing it on the Clock app. Tick tock.
Oh, I was going to say, what's the clock? I was duh. You know what? I didn't notice that transition. You do it completely live over there.
Yes, yes. But I feel God getting ready to shake things up. And I think the new year is going to call for some new stuff. And so just, stay tuned. And
Warning, something is happening. Something is brewing. This is what that really brings to mind for me. Every time you be like, I didn't know I was going to push somebody else to do it. I really think you are one of the most prolific people I know. Like the smartest. You drive me crazy because you got 100 ideas. I mean, I think I have 100 ideas. You got 100,000 ideas, like at one time. And I really think that your personality is very strong and very confident. So talk about, but you always be like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I don't know. So talk about that for how when you perceive people to be so kind of strong, like people always think I'm strong. I'm really a big old baby. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I am a damsel in distress. No, you're somebody else. They think that I love to be like, they think I'm an alpha female. I am not. I am very, I'm very that way. But when women, to me, like for you, I feel like you're so smart, you're so this, you're so that. And then you tell me these stories where, boom, I just didn't think I was worthy enough. Talk about that a little bit more with the audience of how that perception and then how you can execute it as well as you do, even though you have those feelings sometimes.
Well, I think what happens is we start to listen to the voices in our head, and we don't know how to differentiate between the voices. Sometimes we get in our own way, it's our own voices, but other times it is the things that people have said to us over the years, and we start to believe it, and we allow these toxic thoughts to just swirl in our head, and it becomes our soundtrack. It becomes what we believe. And of course, when you believe it in your mind and in your heart, that your actions are going to follow, or inaction. And so for so long, I was told, I was teased that I was too much, I was too loud, too fat. There was always something. And I remember even probably about 8 years ago, someone saw an older picture of me. And of course, I was slimmer. So, my face was a lot slimmer. My hair was straight. It wasn't curly and, big. That's the way I like it, Yeah. But I was told that I should wear makeup and that I should look like that picture, and I should straighten my hair. That people would respect me, they'd want to do business with me, and that people would recognize me as a boss. And so I think I took that to heart, and no matter how much I tried to say to myself that it wasn't true, I really didn't believe it deep down inside. And I think I just had to work through it by experience. And one thing that happens is when you say yes to God and give him your yes, a lot of people think that it's just you doing the thing, and a lot of people don't want to get started because they don't feel like they're prepared. They don't feel ready. They don't want to start because it's scary. And the unknown is scary. And is anybody going to be there? And so I think what happens is that we listen to the thoughts that are playing the soundtrack in our mind, and that becomes louder than God's voice. And that's a scary place to be.
Wow. Criticism becomes louder than God's voice. So what do we do when we get stuck in that way? Because how you grow up matters, your environment matters, whether you're young or as you get older, the people around you matter. When the criticisms get so loud, what is your advice? What should women do to push past the noise? What did you do to push past the noise?
What I did was I had to get to know God for myself. I had to understand the nature of God. I had to realize that I was his masterpiece. It didn't matter how light my skin was. It didn't matter how big my behind is. It didn't matter how curly my hair is. None of that stuff mattered, that I am his masterpiece and that I can be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. I had to learn to understand that he loves me, and I had to understand who I am in him so that I could value myself. And it's not until you find value in yourself that you can stand up and shine. Because for many years I hid. I remember being a young adult, actually, even in my teenage years and younger than that. I would go over to a family's house, and we call everybody auntie, and someone would say to me, "Oh Lord, look how you get so fat." And let me tell you something, Yolanda, if I could be fat like I was back then, right now,
I just thought I was huge. You hear me? I would take that 1995 huge in a heartbeat. You hear?
Okay. And so it's the things that you hear. It's the relationships. It's the relationships that you have, where people tell you that you're not good enough. And so, you start to believe that. It becomes your soundtrack. And until you really work on your mindset, and like the word says, to renew your mind every day, until you work on that and you choose to believe that you are worthy, that you are valuable, that you are beautiful, but it's me saying yes and being obedient and doing what God has called me to do. That is where it started, because my obedience, it led to me being in alignment with God's will for my life. And then that led me to transformation. And I started to see how my life was transforming. I started to see how just my life transforming.
I love that. So here's my question for women who, because this platform that we had some false starts. And one thing you just said is like, doing it messy is my problem. I am a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. And so all of these kinks today is really like working my inner nerves, because I love to, and I'm thinking I got everything straight. And even I've read, like on Facebook, you can actually do it messy. Maybe on Facebook and TikTok, you can actually do it messy and people love it. And then on Instagram, you got to be a little bit more polished or whatever. I even read that, and I'm making graphics and I'm nudging. So it's like super whatever. Right. And that is my personality. But one thing that you just said was like, you have to do it and do it scared. You have to do it and do it messy. You just got to do it. And so I love that message. So let's go ahead and take a heart. Oh, wait, I have to do this. I'll pull these out. So you were talking about your makeup, your glasses, I brought these out just for you. See, These are my brand new glasses. They are so huge, but they give me Andrea Harrison vibes. Okay. But I can see, Lord have mercy. They came and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so huge. But I love them because
they look great on you. They look great on you. But
I need a flower, I need a rainbow or something. They're just too basic. But these are my Andrea Harrison glasses. Oh so, God. And my hair is naturally as big or bigger than before I went live. My hair was just as big. But I love that she was like, accept yourself and who you are and be bold and go in. And you can't be perfect. You can't look a certain way. You don't necessarily have to dress a certain way. Your hair doesn't have to be a certain way, but you can still drive your purpose and hit the audience that you are meant to hit. So that's what I love. Like, and every time
that's what I was going to say to you, is that authenticity is important, because you're going to resonate with your tribe. When you show up as who you are and you're not trying to be like somebody else, and you show up with your big hair, and especially me as a fluffy girl, do you know how many times I have had women say to me, send me a message and say, you know what, you inspired me to show up just the way that I am. Because I got to a point where I was like, okay, especially during the pandemic did a whammy on me. And I still have not, and on many people, right? Everybody. But I still have not fully recovered. And there's a part of me that is still hiding. So it's not like I wrote the book and I'm this expert on showing up. I know what it feels like to not show up fully. For a very long time, I was showing up on camera, but I was hiding behind the camera. So I wouldn't do in-person events. And so I had to change that. And so we are, like I said earlier, we can be a masterpiece, God's masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time. But the important thing about messy, Yolanda, is the fact that if you do every single thing so perfect and there are no flaws, what are you saying to other people when you
have to show up perfect?
Right. And no one can relate to that. But people relate to the authenticity. People relate to the messy. People say, wow, if she can do it, then I can do it. But when they see someone who is perfectly put together and everything is perfect, it's like, that's beautiful. I admire that. And that was my problem. I don't think I could do it because I can't do it like this or I can't do it like that. And that's the problem. God wants us to look up at him and not around at other people, because we know what they say about comparison.
Tell us what they say about comparison.
It steals your joy. It kills your joy. It kills your confidence.
So that is a good segue to the birth. We talked about show up and shine a lot, but not directly. So let's just hit it because it's right there with you. We can't miss it. That's a part of her brand. Actually almost put up my pink wall, but then I was like, Andrew be like, don't mess with my brand. Just
there's enough for us to both shine, girl. You know that.
Because I love my background, but I almost felt like being twinsies because we've been twinsies before. Like being twinsies. So let's talk about Show Up and Shine, the book. Andrea was at my house not too long ago. And so I got an autographed copy. You too could get an autographed copy if you would like at shinewithandrea.com. Listen, I used to call her Andrea because I'm from New York. She's from New York too, but I guess she don't use long A's,
No, remember, I didn't name myself. My mother's Jamaican by way of England. That was on her. That was Andrea. That's a very Jamaican name.
And listen, so I had a couple of friends named, this is the insider trade secrets. I had a couple of friends named Andrea, and this woman said capital A, capital N, capital D. And anytime I say anything different, she's like, I cannot believe. I love to go off track with you. Let's stay on track. All right, let's talk about Show Up and Shine, which you can get at www.shinewithandrea, A-N-D, okay? Emphasis on the and. Andrea, talk about the book. And I remember the process a little bit, but you did also surprise me, right? You kind of mentioned it and then boom, there it was. Like you had already been working on it. So tell us about, you talked about what came to the movement, but how did it get into this book?
So I wanted to write a book from 2018. I actually went to a Speak and Write conference with TJ. It was a Lisa Nichols conference, and I actually met Lisa Nichols that night, and I was so inspired by everybody in the room, and I wanted to write a book. And it didn't really work out at that time, which, I don't think it was the right time, but at least that was a spark. And then in the beginning of 2020, a month before the pandemic started, I hired a writing coach, and I decided I am going to write this book. And the book that I was going to write was not Show Up and Shine. It was going to be named Unleash Your Brilliance. And yeah. And so when the pandemic hit and then the world shut down, things just kind of got off track. It was about October of 2024, I started to get the bug again. And I said, I really need to write this book because I really wanted it to be done before a certain age. I wanted to celebrate on my 50th birthday. And it didn't happen that way.
So many stipulations that we be putting God through. It's got to be like this and it got to look like this. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not going to throw you off your thing.
He knows his children. He knows his children. So anyway, it was like October 2024. And I had someone I recently met said to me, God told me to help you birth your book.
Wow.
And that blew me away because I had just been thinking about it and saying that I really, really want to write this book. And I didn't really know at that point, like, how I was supposed to do it. And when she said that to me, I was blown away and I said, okay, let's go. So that was in October 2024. In January, so we were kind of doing it, not doing it, doing it, not doing it. And then in January of 2025, my mother ended up going into the hospital for something very simple. And unfortunately, she never came out. She passed away 4 months after being in the hospital. And it was a very, very trying time. It was a very, as you can imagine, it was just really, really a traumatic experience for her, for us, just how severely sick she was. Mm-hmm. And in January, about a week after she went in, it was both of our birthdays. She's January 20th. I'm January 21st. And I felt this, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was such a strong tug at my heart where it was like God said, get this done now. Mm-hmm. And I literally wrote the book in probably about 2 weeks. I would sit on Zoom with both of my book doulas, my midwives, and that's what they were. They helped me, my friend Latera and Sarah, they helped me to birth the book. The thing is that I was writing every day for like 10 hours on Zoom. They would sit with me for most of that time, 10 hours, 12 hours, 17 hours. And my mom would text me from the hospital at like 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of my childhood stories that are in the book were stories that she shared with me. She shared some things that I didn't even know about. I was like, that happened? What? But I was a baby and I was in what she says, my pram. And so we published the book on April 10th, which was my godson's birthday, and my mom passed on May 15th. I was so grateful because by the time April 30th came around, she wasn't really coherent. She really couldn't speak, but she knew. And I read a portion of the book to her. I had gotten my author copy, the one with the gray stripe for proofing. And she was bedridden for those 4 months. So it wasn't like she was in the bed, could not get out at all. And so we had taken her to a doctor's appointment because there was a time when she came home and Gordon and I cared for her solely. We had nurses and stuff coming in, but we were the ones really taking care of her. Gordon he's an angel. He is an absolute angel. The way that he cared for my mother, like really took care of her. Anyway, we took her to her doctor's appointment. When we came home from the doctor's appointment, instead of because we had to transport her by wheelchair, but to get her out of the bed into a wheelchair, we had to use this contraption that kind of picked her up and then put her into the wheelchair. And so she said, I don't want to go back in the bed. And so we sat right by the front door, and that was when the Amazon guy came and delivered the proof. And the joy that I had and just the gratefulness I feel in my heart right now to know that she didn't pass without knowing. She was so proud of me. And then you could see my picture on the book. Madison, my daughter, took that picture with an iPhone. It was a little grainy because it's a when you try to blow it up that big for the cover of the book, it got a little pixelated. My cousin Janae, she was the one who made it look like a book cover. And my mom was so proud. And I am just so grateful that it actually happened, because for a long time I didn't think that it ever would, but I never gave up. I pushed past my quit. And when God said, go, move now, get it done now.
If you would have waited a day, if you'd have waited a week, she wouldn't have saw it. No. Homage to your mom, who was an amazing queen and raised an amazing child through all tribulations and trials and all of the things. She was an amazing queen. And when she had her memorial, I was able to hear her voice talk about Gordon. So she loved Gordon before he took care of her.
Oh, wait.
And for those who are just joining, Gordon is my bestie too. So there's that.
Let me tell you something. That woman, yes, I said that woman. That woman would introduce us to people, her doctors, anywhere we went. For the past 18 years, she was living with us. 19 years she was living with us because she came. Gordon invited her to live with us. That wasn't my idea. Gordon invited her when I was pregnant. That's a whole nother story. She would introduce us as, this is my son and his wife.
No way. Mom, I was in the tummy.
That's what I said.
That has that effect on people because, you were my bestie first. You deboed your way into my life, and I'm so grateful. I learned so much from you. I just love your family, the love of your family. But Gordon and I we just kismet spirits. The fact that he's not in the house right now, I have a problem with that. And you let him know that I said that. But I want to not skip over this moment because you were telling me that, or telling the audience that you were pushing past, even though your mom was bedridden, still getting it done. And what that triggered when I saw Stacy's comment, because Stacy's in a very similar situation, and Stacy has all of these gifts and talents, and she's so smart, but she's in that same space. Talk to that person who's a caregiver, but also has a dream, a vision, a God unction to do more. Talk about how you work through that.
Well, first of all, Stacy, let me just say that I don't know if I know you or not, but my heart goes out to you. It's not an easy thing. I know you might feel very much alone, but just know that there are other people out there that have been there, done that. You will get through it, even though you feel like you won't. You will get through it. And if you want to, please feel free to DM me. And actually, I wrote on my blog, I recently wrote a blog entry that would probably really help you. It's called Grief is, well, for me, this is from my perspective here on the other side, okay? On the other side of it. And for anyone who is grieving, it's called Grief is Disrespectful. But if you look at my hashtag missing guy, missing GUI, excuse me, GUI. That was how I dealt with and coped with the entire situation. By blogging, by writing, by sharing posts, by sharing pictures. But during the time that I was actually writing the book, when I was taking care of my mom, fortunately for me, when she wasn't at the hospital or in the rehab, she lived with us. She was here with us. So we had a hospital bed in the room, the Hoyer in the room, everything in the room. And I brought my desk into the room and I would just do what I was doing right there. Because for many years, as an entrepreneur, whenever I was working at my desk, my mom would roll over to me in her walker and she would just sit right next to me. And sometimes we talk and sometimes she scrolled on her phone and I just worked, whether I was on a Zoom, whether I was on the phone, no matter what I was doing. If I was live, she would always sit right there next to me. So this was no different for me than to just sit there with her and do what I had to do. And I know that my mother would not want me to waste away to nothing. I know that she would want me to continue doing what it is that I was doing. She didn't want me. She would ask me, did you write today? Did you write today? You know? And so, people always say it takes balance, but I don't know what balance is. I don't think balance exists. It's just a cute word that people use. But I think you just have to make that decision to say that every chance that I get, I'm going to do a little bit. Even if you couldn't sit down the way that I did it for, sitting for 10 hours, 12 hours, 17 hours at a time. I had to get it done. And I just, like I said, I had that pull, that tug at my heart where I really didn't have a choice. And I didn't know what was going to happen because I believed with all of my heart that my mother was going to be healed. And I know that God can heal. I know that he can heal. That was not his plan for my mother's life. So it wasn't that I was rushing to do it, to hurry up and get it done because I thought that she might pass, because I knew that she was going to live, because the only thing she ever wanted to do was to attend Madison's high school graduation. And she died 15 days before her graduation. And that was so heartbreaking. But when I decided to walk this walk with him, I had to be obedient. I mean, I even went live the 20 minutes after they told me that she passed. With the phone at her ear, I went live. And I know people think it's crazy, but when I got the call, I had spent the entire day with her at the hospital the day before. And when they told me that she wasn't going to last, they said, go home and then come back in the morning. And so I had planned to come back in the morning, but they called me at 8:38 in the morning. God had already given me something to speak about that morning on my live. And so I had notes and I was prepared. And then when I'm sitting at my desk and I got the call at 8:38 that morning, they said, we think she's transitioning. Her breathing is now labored. I said, put the phone to her ear and leave it there. So they laid the phone on the bed right up to her ear. The nurse held it for the first 20 minutes until she transitioned, but they left it there. I prayed the loudest prayers, the most, like, I prayed my little heart out. And I remember at one point I was praying so loud, Yolanda, that I know my mom, and she would have, if she could have, told me, okay, just quiet down, use your inside voice. And so I actually lowered my voice. But at 9:58, I said, Mommy, because, I go live at 10 a.m. I said, Mommy, we are going to shine today. She had just passed, but I know that the last thing to go is your hearing. And so I believe in my heart that she heard everything. And I literally looked up at God. This is how I look up at him. And I literally looked up and I said, bruh, what you want me to do now? Those were my words to him. Because I said, you took my mother. What do you want me to do now? What am I supposed to do with these notes? Because I didn't feel a release to not go live because this was my assignment. And he told me that I went live every single day for 2 years until my mother passed. The day after, I had to stop. But I didn't know what I was supposed to do at that point. And when you are on assignment, you've got to be obedient. And I spoke, I used the same notes, but guess what, Yolanda? It was meant for the people. Everybody got something out of it. And I never told anyone that she had transitioned. But I preached my heart out. I didn't want any distractions. I know I had a job to do. I know I had to do what God called me to do. I didn't want any distractions. I didn't want anybody to feel any way. I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do because I already had my walking papers. God told me what I needed to do and how I needed to do it. And it wasn't until after I met with the Shine crew on Zoom and I told them that she had passed privately. Yeah.
Wow. I don't even know how I can back that one up. Wow. What kind of courage and strength that do you think you didn't have that you just exhibited in the moment that you're retelling it and in the moment that you were in it? Because the Andrea that I know that is like, I can't, I won't, I'm not good. Like, you were the pillar of strength in that moment because you could have everybody would have understood if you didn't show up that day. Everybody would have been like, oh, it's okay, but you pushed past your perceived strength that you didn't think you had to fulfill the God-given purpose. That's like a mic drop. I'm not going to drop my mic because I just bought it, but it's a mic drop moment. And so I want to transition to that because we were talking about the Show Up and Shine book, but there is a Shine Academy. So talk about the Shine Academy a little bit to our audience.
Well, I didn't hear that. Sorry.
The heart behind the Shine Academy, like branching from the talk show, right? We're going beyond the talk show, beyond the book. Am I correct in thinking that? All right.
Yes. So writing this book, and after the impact that it has had. So I've had hundreds of people message me or call me or share a video or write a post and tell me how the book has impacted their lives, how they have read it 2 times, or now they're on their 3rd time, or I've had people tell me that they take the book with them everywhere that they go. They carry it with them every day. I had one lady, the reason why this one is my personal one. And the reason why it's tabbed, you see, and it has like highlights and everything is because there was a lady who told me she tabbed her book. And I was like, you tabbed your book? What do you mean you tabbed your book? What does that mean? She was like, I tabbed it. I was like, what do you mean? I said, I need to see a picture. And she posted a picture with the book with tabs. And I was like, oh my gosh. She said, this is my playbook. She said, this is my Bible. She said, this is my Bible.
Wow.
She had notes all over it. She had highlights. And so I was blown away. I was blown away by that. And so I tabbed my book. I'm like, you can't tab your book. I'm the author. I need to tab my book.
I can jump to the section where I need to jump to.
Yes, because like there's like the chapter on branding is the longest chapter in the book, the most robust, of course, me being a certified branding coach, and branding is my thing, right? So when I found myself when I'm talking, I'm like, well, and so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, now we can just pop right to it.
Well, tabs work.
But so what I found is that a lot of women were reading the book, and yes, I was able to sign their book. If you buy it from me and not from Amazon, you know, I will be able to autograph the book. I can put a message in the book. But I realized that I needed to build community with these women. I wanted to teach them what I did and how I did it. Because when I went live for the first time, I was scared, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I've gone live before. I know what I'm doing going live. But as far as this was a new, it was new, right? And so what I realized is that there were many women that we called ourselves now the Shine Crew, right? Hashtag Shine Crew. And that's because the community was built in the comment section of my live. The community was built in the comment section of my live, just women tuning in. Mm-hmm. And I, at the time, I was reading a devotional journal. Have you ever heard of 100 Days of Believing Bigger by Marshall Daniels? So that was the book I read. I read it 4 times. So that's a whole lot of times. I read 4 times. And because I was doing it, a lot of other women started doing it as well. Wow. And then the women that were doing it, their audience started doing it. And so I realized that I had to teach them what I was doing, that they could, there's certain things that they could do just by picking it up by watching me, but I needed to teach them what I was doing. And so Shine Academy was born. And so we are going to be doing master classes again, but they're called.
Use the word, because I was about to say it. I didn't want to jump in there, but I was going to say
we are going to be doing it again. They're going to be called the Show Up and Shine Experience. So that's to come. One of the things that I'm going to be teaching first is teaching authors to be speakers, because you need to understand that process, right? At least to get them started. But my heart's desire is that every woman would get a copy of this book, because I know what it did for so many. If you are a hidden leader, a hidden expert, and you know that God called you for more, you don't know where to start or how to start or what to do, or you feel like it's not perfect, you're not ready, you're not prepared, this book will get you started on your way. It's so much more than just my stories. There are worksheets in the back of the book. There are action key takeaways and action plan after every chapter. And so I knew that I just couldn't write a book. I didn't want to write a book that someone put on their shelf or on their coffee table. I wanted to write something that was a guide to help them to come out of the shadows, to stop playing small, and to start living and walking out confidently their God-given purpose.
I love that. We're going to shout out the Shine Crew. The Shine Crew is live. I lost it, but hold on. The Shine Crew is live, so I want to make sure I shout them out. They are, I put the Shine Crew.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, I put the Shine Crew in the, that means they need to have their own page. I just put it in, like searching for them. And I'm really looking for Yolonda Jay. I put the Shine Crew. I want to shout them out. I see them. We see you, so we want to recognize you. Jan Cade. Jan Cade is joining us today. Let's see who else.
Hey, Jan.
Let's see. Lisa Bell, Tyra Freeman, Stevie Mills. I don't know if any of those names sound
Absolutely. That's the Shine Crew.
Yeah. Well, and then I saw.
They're also authors of the anthology, The Shine Effect.
We were about to get there. That was a good segue.
They're all
One
authors
to another. Talk about that a little bit more.
So it, basically the anthology that we did together, 14 including me, basically is every one of us telling our stories on where we were before we met in the comment section of my lives, and how my yes led to their yes, and their yes led to someone else's yes, and it's just a ripple effect. And so there you have the Shine Effect. And that, yes. So we have a office copy. God. We have an office copy. And all of the authors are on this book, so you have to get it from them. But we will be doing a launch. We will be doing a launch.
Date to be announced, or can you announce the date?
The date to be announced. It will be
exclusive. Yeah. Let me know.
Yes.
One thing about Show Up and Shine that you mentioned that I can't end the conversation without you going through a little bit more is, one, the sit down with Yolonda Jay was for those who, very similar, I said that before, very similar for those who want to do this entrepreneurial space, but won't stand up or haven't stand up or didn't have the courage and didn't want to do it messy. And I'm sharing stories like yours. And then I crossed that with my Toastmaster experience, where it's all about storytelling, most effective way to get your message across. I'm a church girl too, so preachers tell stories as well. So it goes in a lot of different directions. So utilizing story, our brands are so similar. Utilizing stories, standing, or I say stand up and you say show up, standing up in your purpose and your calling. And one thing that I want my entrepreneur audience to do, or budding entrepreneurs, are they thinking about it? Because I want to take them from thinker, dreamer to doer. And that's the message that I want to share with those who follow me, because those who follow me are going to be into personal development, leadership development, speaking development, because that's my jam. And so I want to talk a little bit about, because somebody said, I can't wait for tonight. I said, well, you're in for a treat, because the Personal Brand Strategist is in the building, okay? So we're talking to my entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, thinkers of being an entrepreneur, right? Needing to be an entrepreneur, especially in this climate. I love when I talk to you on one-on-one. It's like, I want to sell my book. I want to get my book out there. I want to get this message out there. And for me, the phase that we were in together is gone for me, because I want to create my own content and push my own content. And that's where, if I'm doing my God-given purpose, that's where the streams of money gonna come from, because that's how I feel like I'm in this space. I'm not quite 50 yet, but I'm right up on your heels, baby. And I just want to live out my purpose. And we talk about this. I don't like to do it messy, so it takes a little bit. It'd be 2000 to 2025. I'm the same thing. I'm the same way. We approach it different, but we kind of go through the same things in our heads, right? And so I want to speak to my audience who are entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, thinking and dreaming of being an entrepreneur, about that personal brand strategist. That is one thing that caught me with you. Your brand, from the moment I met you, I don't know when you became the certified brand strategist, because you always, I don't know if you had that before or after we met, but you always been the go-to person. 2020, that's it?
I was certified 2021.
Okay, because you was doing it well before 2021.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But one thing about you, like, I've always been about, you need to get your EIN, you need to get your LLC. But when it comes to brand, that's a whole nother ball game. So talk a little bit to these entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, thinkers and doers that want to really put their brands out there, about that.
Well,
in your book that talks about brand.
Well, first things first, you are the brand. So a lot of people think that the brand is your website, it's your domain name, it's the colors that you use to represent your brand. It's that's not it. That is a part of it, but the most important part is you. And so people need to know, who are you? They need to know, who do you serve? They need to understand, why does your brand exist? What solution? What do you solve? What problem do you solve? And the most important thing, I'm giving your listeners, your viewers, all the secrets, okay?
Lean in close, guys. Lean in close, okay?
The most important thing is, what's in it for me? That is what your audience, what your customers, your clients, that's the question they're asking. And people shop with people they know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. And how will people get to know you, or know that they like you, or know that they can trust you, without you showing up? So it's imperative for you to show up. But the brand, you being the brand, the personal brand, that's the experience. It's what people feel when they do business with you, when they meet you, when they talk to you.
That's why it could be a zillion McDonald's, a zillion Chick-fil-A's, a zillion. Oh, you told me not to say that. Network businesses, but the customer service at that spot is why you go back. Listen.
Think about network marketing, where you have network marketing and you have a lot of people doing the same.
You said that way better than I could, because I was going to say that. I was trying to say that, but it was coming out.
You have a lot of people doing the same thing, selling the same product, or you have lots of coaches out there that are doing the same thing. But how do you stand out?
Listen, I want to read this part. Mm-hmm. Building a personal brand isn't just about selling a product or promoting a service. It's about 83.
Okay, I'm right there.
Like, she has tabs. I had to find it. Building a personal brand isn't just about selling a product or promoting a service. It's about creating impact, building relationships, stepping fully into your purpose. Your brand is a reflection of who you are, the values you stand for, the transformation you bring to others. Every time you go live, share your journey, engage with your audience, you are not just building a business, you're building a movement. Shine. Show up and shine with Chief Shine Officer. Girl, the whole time I was preparing my notes, I kept saying Chief Shine Ambassador. And I was like, oh, I was doing my voiceover today, I think this morning. I was like, it's not an ambassador, it's a Chief Shine Officer. Who else do you know is a CSO? Only Andrea Harrison. I won't read anymore because you got to get the book. Hello at www.shinewithandrea, AND, okay? Have the emphasis on the and.com. You can get your personal copy, signed copy from shinewithandrea.com. So, I mean, when I say she digs into the branding, because she said, you think it's your logo. That took me time. Man, fooling with the colors, the logos, and all of that, that all took time away from the actual impact. Like, I missed an audience trying to fool with the colors and the logos and the fonts, because that's where I get into the weeds. So don't be like me. Get out the weeds and start showing up messy. So we now have let's hit on the talk show, because we talked about you going live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. So before we go, we got to talk a little bit about wrapping, how the talk show also encompasses all the things that are in the brand.
Yes. So every weekday morning, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live over on the Clock app, TikTok. And that really is just a time of devotion and worship. So I will play, because you can play music over there. So I play some worship songs, and then I've been reading from my devotional, my 30-day Show Up and Shine companion devotional, which
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
it's
Wait, wait a minute. I need a moment. What we get the companion? Listen, this is the second thing I did not have the exclusive on. When did we get a devotional?
well, it's not published yet. It's finished.
Okay, I didn't miss it. Because you mentioned it when you were with me, but you didn't say it was, oh, but you teaching from it, like you just trying to tease us by teaching from it. Listen, she good at branding and marketing. You hear me? Okay. I know those women in the Shine crew like, ma'am, when am I going to be able to get my...
Well, you know, the beautiful thing is that a lot of them are doing just that. You know, they are doing just that. They are writing their own devotionals. And
wow. Talk about empowerment.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to watch women step out, like you say, show up and shine. They have their own lives that they do, devotional lives that they do every morning, you know, at the different times. And it's for me, it's so humbling. Like, it's like, wow, you know, when I think about just this girl from the Bronx that just wanted to make God smile, I just wanted to be obedient, and to see how one yes can lead to so many other yeses.
I mean, we talk about that when we were together in our business, but how that, I mean, I said yes and 4,000 people follow. That's nuts, right? And we don't think that we have that personal impact, but we do. All you got to do is be obedient and step out there and then see what the Lord is going to do with your yes, right? But you got to show up and shine. You see how I did that? You got to show up and shine. And then figure it out along the way. Do you agree? Figure it out.
Yeah. People will not find you if you're hiding. Hello.
That's one of the key things that you talk about. And I mean, we could go in so many more directions for another hour. Listen, Andrea has had me on a Zoom for like 8 hours, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. We're going to close out in an hour at the hour mark, but I have been on a Zoom call with her for like 8+ hours. I'm not going to lie. Anybody else a witness to being on a Zoom call? And I'm talking about pure worship, crying, snotting, praying, getting filled with knowledge, laughing, jamming to music, and then another 5 hours, and closing out, and still be 3 more hours. And you still go 3 more hours. That's how her events go. So when it's time for her master classes to show up, you better be a part of the #Shine Crew, because you got to hear it. You don't want to miss any master class that she does. Okay, closing reflections. To the woman who is listening and feeling unseen, you say,
I see you. I see you. And sometimes you have to put yourself in the right place, in the right community, to be seen. And sometimes you just have to trust that God sees you. And sometimes he's keeping you close and set apart. And he's not ready to let you go. But that's your preparation period. I felt unseen for a long time. And one thing that I neglected to mention was when I was doing those devotionals, reading from Marshawn Evans Daniels' 100 Days of Believing Bigger for 400 days, my obedience, my preparation of going live every day, saying yes to God and doing that, the opportunities that came up led all of that, not hiding anymore, showing up and shining. All of that led to one, Marshawn Evans Daniels joining me on my live for an hour on my 1-year anniversary.
Love that.
And then about 6 months later, she wrote the foreword to my book. I didn't know her, but this is what happens when you feel unseen, but you have to know God sees you. So you have to continue to show up and shine until when he's ready to pull the curtains. You got to be ready. When he pulls the curtains, what are you going to do? Are you going to be ready to show up and shine? Are you going to have everything in place? Or are you still going to be, remember when we played double dutch, right? And
I'm not from the borough, so I didn't double dutch, but I understand the analogy.
That's why I tell you, that's why I tell you, you can't say you're from New York. You're from Buffalo. That is not from New York.
My birth certificate says state of New York, just like
right. That's what you need to say. I'm from the state of New York. Because when you say I'm from New York, and because you have, because you're real cool and you're down to earth and, you got that swag, people are going to think you from one of the 5 boroughs.
They get so disappointed when I say I'm from Buffalo.
Exactly.
Like, that's not a real city in New York. I'm like, seriously? They either are so disappointed or they go, how far is that from? It's 9 hours from the Bronx, baby. It's 9 hours. But one thing that I feel like we're kismet is that we're always in spaces and places we are even qualified to be in. And I definitely give all glory and honor to God for like the spaces and places that we are in. He was like, I didn't know Marshawn. She didn't know me, but I showed up and that happens. And so I want you to know when you do show up in those spaces, when you get out of your comfort zone, when you do it messy, when you start the business, when you start the book, when you start the whatever it is that you need to start, or you start the coaching business. What's my girlfriend trying to do? She's the one that called me today. Her speaking business. She wants to be a speaker, like a public speaker, motivator, like Grant Cardone or Lisa Nichols. That's who I love. I love me some Lisa. Woo! I love her. But when you want to do those things, you have to say yes. And one thing, when I said, how do you speak to those who feel unseen? Now, I don't have that same thing. I've always been confident. I think that came from church. I've always been front and center. Like I had to get up in big audiences when I was little, so I don't mind. So this is all from, when I was 3. You raised in a church that you got to speak in front of a whole bunch of people. But in other areas of my life, I feel like I don't see progress. So it's not more that I feel invisible, but I don't see the progress. Because I was just talking to my mom today and I was like, I have 150 ideas that I just need to get out, and just do them and not do them perfectly. I say all that to say, when you said the words, I see you, ISEEYOU, I instantly went back to a moment where I wrote the letters I see you on my mirror. So I just did that in the lab. Oh, about to cry on here. I'm not about to do it with you. You're not about to make me cry. So I see you because I'm on a health journey and I'm on a wellness journey. And I'm like, I want to live. My son is only 7. And I don't have any health problems. I will say that. Other than being obese, I don't have any health problems. But I want to be here because it ain't his fault. His mama's old. It's just not. It's not his fault. But I want to be able to get down and play with him and all of these things. So I want to lose weight. And I feel like I'm eating the right things. I'm doing the right things. And it's just not moving. That's when you were like, can I have that 1995 thick that I had? Because I would be happy with the 1995 size that I am. But I had to encourage myself. And I had to say, I see you on the mirror every day. It's coming. It's not fast. It's not in a hurry, but I see you. I see where you're going. I see your grit. I see your push. I see you. And that's what we have to do. We have to remind ourselves too. We can't always look for someone else to validate us. And we do that as women a lot. Do you see me? Do you see me working hard? Do you see me taking care of the kids? Do you see me? You don't have this struggle. Thank you, Jesus. This single mom, do you see me? Right? And it's even in my circles, I feel like people take my ideas and be making them theirs. And praising you for the idea that I just told you to do. And you don't say nothing. I've been in spaces, people take my ideas. They don't even mention that they got it from me and just keep getting praised from it. And I'm like, here's God saying, I see you. I know it was from you. You know, like, so there's so many levels to I see you that broke for me when you said those words about being unseen. That was my long way of saying that resonated with me, because I don't have the same, I don't feel valued. I don't have that. I just have I don't feel like I'm doing it enough, faster, quicker, or, you know, fast enough. I don't feel like I'm going fast. I don't feel like I'm making progress. But what you did for me today is start, because I had to press the go live button. Hello, we already back to that. Press the go live button, get it started, and then see what God's going to do with it. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. And then see what God's going to do with it, because I showed up. All right, that's me preaching to myself. That was all for me, as a matter of fact, just so that y'all know.
Can I just add to that? In the middle of my journey in going live, there was a day that I did not want to go live. It was like a few minutes before the live started, and I think Gordon and I probably had some words, and I was not feeling it. And you know, I'm not a light switch, so I don't know how to turn it off and shut it down like some people can do. I can't do that. And the live was all of like 5 minutes, but I had to go live because it was my commitment. And it was 5 minutes. Literally, I went live. I don't even think I had a smile on my face. I was like, listen, I don't even want to be here. You know, and I read the devotional, and I was like, that's all I got. That's all I got. And I got off. And I felt so heavy after that. I said, man, God, I'm sorry. I disappointed you. That was the worst live that I could have done. And look what I showed the people. And, you know, I know I live transparent and I'm vulnerable and all of that, and authenticity and all of that. But that was like a little bit too much. And do you know how many messages I got from women that said to me, they said, man, you don't know what you taught us in that moment. You taught us what it looks like to go live, to show up when you don't feel like showing up, to go live when you don't feel like it. And it loosed something in the atmosphere. And it was just like so many people said, thank you. Thank you for showing up. And that's what I was saying. Everything can't be perfect.
That's for me.
People are not looking for perfection. They're looking for the messy, because then they can, then you are giving them permission to just be. When God created the light, when God created light, he gave us permission to shine. So we shine. We shine. We shine messed up. We shine with all the things that we're going through. We shine with all of the mistakes. We make a mistake, we say something, whatever the case may be, we still show up and shine, because guess what? God uses it.
Say it again.
God uses it. He takes your mess and he makes it a message, and he uses it for his glory. So many women touched by that live, and I was so disappointed in myself, and I thought I disappointed God. And to know that God took my mess and made it a message.
I want that to just marinate for a little while, because if that wasn't for you, it was definitely for me. If that wasn't for you, it was definitely for me. Because Miss Perfectionist always got to have it together before, you know, we get it going. But it's time, boy. She's teaching us to stop hiding. Visibility in showing up. There's purpose in showing up messy. How you gonna close us out after all of that? I don't know. How you gonna close us out?
Nothing extraordinary happens in a comfort zone. Nothing extraordinary happens in the shadows. You got to show up and shine. You got to do it afraid. Get the book.
Nothing happens. What'd you say?
Nothing extraordinary happens in a comfort zone.
Then what did you say at the end?
Then nothing extraordinary happens. What was the next thing I said?
I don't know. I thought you said get the book. So I was going to throw down.
Last thing I said. That was the last thing I said. So nothing. Get the book.
Get the book.
Yes.
Man, I'm so full. I'm so full for so many reasons. One, for you blessing me, for the Shine Crew showing up, hashtag Shine Crew, for just the friendship that we've had for so many years. I actually don't know how many. I really, really don't know how many.
The first time we met was in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
At that event.
When you bullied your way onto the platform
that is not the story, but we're gonna go with it.
That's not the story. Oh, y'all, we don't have no more time to go into that. That's the story.
I think wasn't that was 2019, November 2019. That was November 2019.
You right. Oh, you wow. How do you know that? Why do you have these trivial things in your head?
Because meeting you, my dear, was a pivotal point in my life.
It really was. Like, let's stop playing with it. It really was. Like, not you meeting me, but me meeting you. All the things that we've learned and grew together. It's been a great ride, and it's not over by far. We just talked about that this week or last week. Like, let's just not. Okay, our paths are going in different directions, although very parallel. I mean, the similarities are more stark than I realized. I realized that through this conversation. They're very, very starkly the same because we're kismet. Even though your husband is my bestie, you my bestie. You my double bestie. But it's very, very similar. So we want to make sure we grace Andrea Harrison with going to her website at www.shinewithandrea.com. You want to sow a seed into any of the nuggets that she dropped tonight, would you please go to shinewithandrea.com and join her movement? Because today was all about a whole movement. It wasn't about a book. It wasn't about a talk show. It wasn't about the entrepreneur journey that I am helping other women and other moms to do. It is the truth, a strategy, a reminder that hiding is no longer an option. Even if you're strong and confident like me, or you're more timid and laid back, you are still hiding in some way if you're not doing the purpose that God is giving you.
Yes.
If he keeps giving you ideas and you're sitting on them, or you're watching them come to fruition, that's me, through other people, and I'm like, I know he gave me that idea. I can't believe I sat on that long, right? So you don't want to be hiding anymore. Today is the day, and we talked about 2026 is so close, and you don't have to wait to the new year to start today. You don't have to wait to the new year to bring that purpose into full play out, right? You can use Show Up and Shine as your playbook. You too could tab it and put highlights in it as well. Step into the light God has already prepared you. Thank you, Andrea Harrison.
Thank you, Yolanda, and
love for sitting with me,
audience, and to the Shine Crew. I love y'all.
Hashtag
Crew. No, you gotta put some bass in your voice. It's sort like, but I won't do it.
I can't do it either. But I'm definitely going to have a horn for the next show because I have to do that. Even if I have to ask Gordon to just like take the horn, but I'm sure I can find it. But like, it's when he does it that is so special and unique. Definitely go to TikTok and follow DJ Shofar. He has a new TikTok channel as well. We keep talking about Gordon, but he is also DJ Shofar. You know what I did not see on his channel that I tell him I told you to do this, okay? Because it's a part of his personal brand, is to tell the story of how he became DJ Shofar. That is one of the most impactful stories I've ever heard in my life, especially with like the visuals too. It is amazing because most people don't know what a shofar is.
Maybe you need to pull it out of him.
You know, my show is for women, but I pull Gordon out here in a hot second. You hear me? I wish he was there. I would have told him to jump on because his story of becoming DJ Shofar is amazing. He's anointed for the work that he does in music and sound and setting atmospheres. Anointed to do it.
And First Fridays,
talk about it.
First Friday is the virtual worship experience. Every first Friday on Zoom, he leads us in worship with his turntables as a DJ.
And listen, if you've never been in a space with Gordon or AKA DJ Shofar in a worship experience, you're missing out, because it is so, I don't know, moving. Like, he just knows what to play, when to play it, what to say. He's anointed for it. I promise you. And he's probably for hire too. If you like to hire him as a DJ, he can absolutely do anything from a church conference to, your wedding. I'm just saying.
He's really good though with the virtual spaces, and
there's not a lot of people that can do it the way he does it.
Right, and he has special equipment that makes the music come through on Zoom that it normally wouldn't if you just have speakers playing in your space. It doesn't go through to the Zoom. I don't know how to explain it. He can, but he has special equipment that allows him to do that. And so he turns every celebration, every conference, every meeting, you had him for one of your meetings.
I absolutely have. I always think of him first. And I actually thought of him for the next one too. Just don't tell him yet, because I haven't told him. Yet. And so, but yeah, every time I have a virtual hybrid meeting, I love to have DJ Shofar there, because why? He's just good. He's good in professional spaces, because my space is more professional. He's good in all spaces. I don't know how this became a Gordon. What do you call those things? What do you call those commercials that be on at night?
The infomercials.
Yeah. I love him though. I love you all. Madison is a prodigy. I can't wait to see what she becomes as an adult, because she was already a pretty accomplished kid. Okay, we didn't even get into Madison. I might have to bring Madison on by herself, honey.
But her story is in the book. So like I said, get the book.
Listen. Just purchase Show Up and Shine, and it'll be. She's a pretty amazing kid. Like, she is just. What page is that? Does it say 44?
44.
She's a pretty amazing kid. So you are blessed with such an amazing family, but by far, I love you because of who you are and who you are to me outside of these cameras. You are very, very much so a supporter of anything that I do. And I don't take it for granted that you said yes to this space as being my second guest. And I already know what happened to the technical difficulties. We'll talk about that offline. But thanks to your Shine crew, who's been talking the whole time on the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay page. So they talk about the DJ Shofar infomercial.
They're on the line.
I love it. Shout out to the Shine crew. They was like, I can't find you, but we gonna make a way, and they absolutely found you. They like sniffing, and they found breadcrumbs.
I don't see them in the comments. See them in the comments. What are you talking about?
Jen and Tara, thank you for hanging with us the whole time. Makisha Alexander, that's my chief of staff. I saw you. Stacy Williams Tucker, thank you for hanging out with us. And to all of those who joined tonight, we're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll do it better tomorrow. It's going to just keep going higher and higher. Today was messy, like more messy than my nerves can handle. But that moment that Andrea drops nuggets, it makes it all worth it, okay? But thank you, girlfriend, for sitting down with us tonight. Now, you've heard the call, you've heard the message, you even went in real time and bought the book, huh? But now it's time for you to stand up, and whatever it is that your purpose is, and whatever it is that your brand will look like, remember, your brand is you. Huh? That's what she said. Your brand is you. So there's something I'm doing, Andrea, before we close out that I'd love to share with the audience. So you already know my passion is to build other entrepreneurs. I am a mom that only made her biggest money from having her own business. I never thought the money that I made could be possible in a 9-to-5, because I was like a non-traditional student. I didn't go to college right away. I went to college as a wife and a mom of 3. Like, that's when I went to college. And so it's taken me a long time to get and climb the corporate ladder. But now that is not even a desire that I have. My desire is to help others find that entrepreneurial journey. And I am here to say I'm doing it messy. I did launch it at school.com, idea to income. So if you have an idea and or you've been wrestling with an idea and you want to join, you wanted to start a business and you want a community of women that can help you and support you along the way. I told you we're like really parallel in what the things that we're doing. You can either go to the Shine Crew or you can come to the Idea to Income School, and we will we both have those kind of communities that will help you birth your purpose and actually monetize it, right? We all have ideas that are inside of us, gifts and talents that are inside of us. We talked about even Stacy earlier today. What is that thing that you're just really good at? Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you know how to meal plan. Let's monetize it. You are a, let me see, I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else about the cook. But if you have an idea, we want to help you birth it. Andrea said something that really I will never get out of my head because my mom's a doula, is she had book doulas. And that is how the community works. When you want to get that thing out, you just need a help pushing from some other part of your community. And you have a community, whether you know it or not. You just got to tap into it. So Shine with Andrea, Ideas of Income on school.com. Either way, you are going to get the community that you need to birth the vision that God has for you. We love you. I appreciate you for coming, and definitely follow Andrea at Shine with Andrea everywhere. She's on TikTok, she's on Facebook, she's on YouTube, and she goes live every weekday. Did it used to be 7 days a week, or no? It's always been a weekday.
It's always a weekday. 1 month we did Tabitha Brown's book, and we did it every day, but that was just for 1 month. But it's every weekday.
Every weekday, her talk show airs on TikTok. So if you at the clock, go ahead and follow her, Shine with Andrea. And we love you. We appreciate you. We will see you. I'll see you tomorrow, but like we'll see you on the other side of Show Up and Shine. We're looking forward to all of the new things that are coming out at the beginning and top of the year. I'm claiming that they'll be happening right as that momentum of the new year is starting. With because I'm gonna need my devotional. I feel robbed right now that I don't have a devotional. So I'm hoping in the next 30 days that thing is birthed. Do I need to call you every day and say birthday? Because I'll be your doula. You understand? Because I'm being selfish, Shine Crew. I need it for myself. I love you so much. Do you want to leave us with anything before we go? Did we miss anything?
Well, if you want to stay in the loop, get shined up. Make sure you get shined up. And that is going to shinewithandrea.com/shine up. So get shined up.
What does that mean? I'm not about to get into a whole nother conversation with you, but what's get shined up? Because you know how you do. We can keep going.
Get signed up, sign up, shine up.
Oh, okay. Because I was getting deep. I was about to go deeper than the ocean. You hear that, Shine Crew? I was about to get deep with it because I felt like that was a little bit more there. All right, we're going to sign off. It's your girl, Yolonda Jay, here with Andrea Harrison, Chief Shine Officer. And we are going to push and birth your visions. Between one of us, we're going to push and birth your visions and help you shine up, or even show up. Stand up is what I say. Stand up in all of your purpose. We love you. We appreciate you for supporting. We'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Love y'all. See you later.